Hello to all. Today I will present you an interactive platform for climate analysis using a climate indices tool. I'm Christian Pagé. I work at Surfax located in Toulouse in France, and this work has been done with several partners from Surfax, from Kanimai, from SMHI, and also all the partners with all the logo at the bottom. And this is part of the work being done in the European funded Business Tree project. So climate data is generated using climate models, and those simulations generate a lot of data sets, and those data sets are made available in a data federation called ESGF. And it is ESGF is a multinational effort to securely access, monitor, catalog, and transport, and also distribute referenced data for climate research, experiments, and observations. So data nodes are located all over the world, and also in Europe, but also in the US, and the total number of data nodes is vary from year to year, but in general, at least 20 to 30 data nodes. So to access this data in the EASINESS project, we have worked a lot to make the access easier, because accessing directly the data using the data node access is not that easy, especially for end users working in climate change impact. So for this, platform was developed to ease the access to climate data, and it is called the Climate for Impact. And this platform is aimed at researchers to explore climate data and also to perform analysis. It connects directly to the ESGF web services, so the ESGF search, and also users can drill down to their data needs, and it exposes several climate data sets from the different experiments in the CIP6, CIP5, and also Cordex experiments. The main interface is using JupyterLab kind of interface, but it is enhanced with many new capabilities compared to a standard JupyterLab environment. In there, you can use ready-made Jupyter notebooks to show how to process climate data, and also some tips and tricks to process climate data, and with the step-by-step instructions and with documentation. The analysis is using ICCLIM. The analysis part is using ICCLIM to perform climate indices calculation. So climate indices are, for example, the number of dry days, or the number of summer days, the number of very hot days, or days with heavy precipitation. Those are climate indices that the user can calculate on demand. And the results of those calculations can be stored in a personal store for processing it further or downloading the results. There's an alpha version available, and you can register to be a beta tester. So you are welcome to try it. And this new version, it's called the V2. It's a complete redesign from the current V1 version that is available in as an operational version. There's more GUI usability, help and feedback pages, flexible analysis features, so notebooks with ICCLIM, and also it automates data staging, and also using reduction workflows. It provides automated reproducibility mechanisms and documentation for data and analysis, so aiming at fair compliance. There are pages for model performance comparison using a tool called ESM Value. And the underlying code structure is modular, so it can be deployed and easily on specific architecture. So the climate for impact V2 workflows and workspace is mainly using two pages. One is the search interface, that is shown on the left-hand side. And in there, you can search for a given project, for example, CMIP6. And CMIP6 data is stored at several data nodes. And once the user select some parameters and filters with easy to use interface with the most common parameters shown, data is staged to remotely and using a remote subsetting reduction onto customizable notebooks. So this is really easy interface for the users to interact with. And Jupyter Notebooks and Python is widely used in the climate research community. And the use case is that the researcher wants is to access distributed raw data. There's a need for developing document and reuse methods for processing and visualization. So sharing also with other researchers. There's a need also to update and extend the raw data and software with different experiments and how the researcher work. There's a strong need in tracking the changes and be able to roll back to previous state. Also keeping old versions of the data, because if you publish a paper, then you sometimes need to do some corrections or modifications. So you need to access your old data. And there's a snapshot and restore of the whole state of the workspace for reproducibility. So the JupyterLab extension is called SWIRRL. And in this interface, you have the workflow monitoring part, you have GitHub authentication, you can have snapshot controls, you have data staging rollback, and also activities history and provenance information. And in this interface, you have a collection of notebooks that are already prepared, and the number of notebooks is increasing. I am responsible for providing more and more notebooks, and in the end, it will be also notebooks being developed by our researchers that can be shared there. So this is the GitLab link to those notebooks. And the main core calculation is made through the software called ICCLIM. So this software is aiming at calculating climate indices, as I explained before. And those indices can be categorized in different categories, like temperature indices, heat, cold, humidity based, or compound indices combining several variables. Also precipitation indices like rain, drought, and snow. And here I have a few examples of those indices. For example, the intra-periodic extreme temperature range called ETR. And all those are standardized internationally. So we use those standard definitions that are defined within the community. ICCLIM has been developed since September 2013 at Surfax, funded by 3 European projects. And the new version 5 that will be out very soon is a completely rewritten version using an underlying software called XCLIM, and it is based on Xarray and Dask software. Also to be noted is that it implements the proper percentile indices calculation when the calculation period overlaps the reference period. So it's called the bootstrapping method. And this is very important because not all the tools doing percentile climate indices implement correctly this method. And if you work with extremes, you can have as much as 20 or 10% error if you don't do this bootstrapping method. So ICCLIM, there's a documentation online. The source code is available on GitHub. The latest master version is 4.2.20, and soon to be released 5 will be released within the next few weeks. We are at beta 5. And this is the documentation at Read the Docs. So we have a main function to compute the NDC, and then you have the different NDC classified here in a table, depending on the source variable that is needed to compute this climate NDC. So the daily mean temperature, minimum and maximum temperature, a combination of the two, the precipitation flux, snowfall flux, and also a combination between temperature and precipitation. So when you use this climate for impact and those notebooks, so in those notebooks you have the documentation and information within the notebook. So you have all the description of what it does. And also all the code is there with the import of the packages, the processing functions, and also how to execute the ICCLIM. So you see here ICCLIM.ndc function with the, for example, here it was TX90P NDC for summer. And here you have an example how to plot the results. So I thank you very much for listening to this presentation. So on behalf of the Climate for Impact and ICCLIM teams, I presented you this work. So feel free to contact us, myself, Christian Pagé, Alessandro Spinuso, and also you can go to our website, you can contact us, and also there's a Twitter account. There are so presentations available on YouTube. So thank you very much for listening.